Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Royalty Life podcast, where we talk all things real estate and lifestyle. My name is Swarnima Davadeep. I'm the founder and host of this podcast. We're kickstarting a new series called Architects Unveiled on our podcast, which delves into the world of architecture, the stories, the designs, and the journeys of many architects who have shaped our city's landscape. Our first guest on this series is someone who doesn't seek the limelight, but who has left an indelible mark on our city, and that is Mr. Dilip Nadig from Perutap Nadig Architects. We also have a surprise guest that's going to join us midway through the podcast, so stay tuned to see who that surprise guest is and to see how the conversation unfolds. Please like, share, and subscribe so that we can create more meaningful content like this. Thank you. Hello, Dilip sir, and welcome to the Royalty Life podcast. We're kickstarting our new series, Unveiling Architects, with the most fitting first guest to be on the podcast. So to start with, tell us a little bit about how you picked up the profession of architecture and how did you found your own firm?
Well, firstly, thank you for the invite. Happy to be here. And in terms of picking up architecture right from a young age, always wanted to be an architect and nothing else.
Okay, wow.
Just found my calling and followed through with it.
How did you find your own firm? Did you work? What is the journey like?
I never worked a single day for anybody in my life apart from my internship.
Okay.
Straight away jumped into the entrepreneurship and being self-employed.
What are the challenges though? Because you haven't worked with what are the kind of challenges you've faced?
Basically, you start small.
Yeah.
So unlike other places where you have worked on some projects, you gained some experience. All that I did at my own cost,
okay.
So not at others.
So tell us the journey of starting the firm, and now of course it's called Perutap Nadig Architects. What are the major milestones and what has the journey been like?
Well, basically we started out as a firm called Nadig Associates.
Okay.
Nadig being my name. Started as a single man.
Okay.
Single architect, single office. All that. And sometime in 2014,
okay,
I was introduced to Perutap by a mutual friend. Then they came down, had a look at our offices and our works, etc. And then we decided to get into a collaboration. Perutap is an architectural firm based out of Melbourne.
Okay.
They're about 130 years old.
Oh, wow. So a legacy architecture firm, yeah.
And Perutap is one of the largest firms in Melbourne and in Australia, and the largest overseas firm in China. So they have 2,000 architects worldwide.
Oh, wow.
And here we are in India, in Bangalore.
So you're the Indian wing of...
Not really, it's more of a joint venture.
Okay.
So where I own the company 100%. So we use their branding, their support whenever it is needed.
Oh, lovely. How has it kind of been like the experience, working with an international firm? How has there been any cross influences?
Yes, cross influences, I would say, but basically the challenge is in scale.
Okay.
From what we were doing earlier to what we do now, the scale is completely different. It's purely because of their legacy. At one point, and I was talking to Peter, who's my counterpart there.
Okay.
Asked him how many million square feet of apartments have you all done? He said he doesn't remember, but we have done about 4 million apartments.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's the scale, the difference of the scale, especially China. The scale is completely different than.
Yeah, the country does everything on a massive scale. Right. So lovely. So you're saying scale. I know when residential, commercial, all sorts of projects in Bangalore truly left a mark on our landscape. What is kind of your design and philosophy when it comes to your practice?
Well, the design philosophy is nothing but storytelling.
Okay.
In an art form with engineering.
Oh, wow. Okay.
With an emphasis on the context. Basically, it's a design response to a context. So we do a lot of storytelling around it.
What is the process though, like, in terms of, like, if you can just take us through one project from start to end?
The process would be, the first what we do is we have a look at the site. We look at the site context. We look at the peripheral resources which are there around the site in terms of, power, water, what the competition is doing.
Yeah.
How can I, put my client's project in competition with the others and stand out? Yeah. That's the first thought that would come to our mind. Like, we're to be mindful of the market, the conditions, and in case it's an apartment projects, at what price it will be benchmarked, against whom, all that stuff. So that's the first response to the design. Obviously, today the developer clients give us a detailed brief.
Okay.
So we see how to meet that brief.
Yeah.
So there's a challenge in, fitting in the sizes of the apartment, the vastu of the apartment, and the building bylaws, and the client's aspirations.
So there are stakeholders
in the whole thing, and so that's how the process starts. And somehow, pen to paper, and the ideas flow out.
And that's beautiful to kind of see it in the final output.
So there's no real thought process or any fixed thing that goes through. It's just sometimes when you get into the zone and you're designing it, the pencil takes over.
The pencil takes over. Yeah. Lovely. In the large kind of projects that you've done, what do you believe is kind of your niche and specialization? Over, of course, your long career now. Where do you believe it's your niche?
Basically, I've we've been in a lot of office tech parks.
Okay.
Larger ones, Bangalore being the hub of IT and BTs. So we do a lot of tech parks.
Okay.
A lot of large format commercial buildings, mixed use buildings. So that's been a.
Can you tell us, can you name some of them, kind of take us through what is...
The most one and most visible one would be a project on St. Mark's Road.
Okay.
It was the former India Garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was actually a design competition, international firm design competition of about 32 architects, narrowed down to 7, narrowed down to 2, and finally we got it.
Wow, lovely. What is different about it? What have you done with it?
Basically, it's a mixed-use building, commercial mixed-use building. So there is, in a single tower, the initial brief was to have retail, F&B, office, and resi in one tower.
Yeah.
So eventually the resi didn't pan out because of height restrictions from the airport. But we had made a design which had 10 residences on the top with the clubhouse looking into Carbon Park.
Oh, wow.
So that was,
and CBD is attached to it.
Yeah, so also that actually the residences were sold out on paper. In the sense, everybody, people would call me and say, I need this apartment. Please tell them I want this. So each apartment was 7,000 square feet. They would have made a killing, but eventually they decided they didn't want to sell any part of the property.
The regulatory laws always come in, so lovely. And if it's one of the tech parks, which would you say is your most iconic one?
Iconic one would be what we did for a developer called Vaishnavi.
Okay.
It's called the Vaishnavi Tech Park on the Sarjapur Road. It's about 1 million square feet.
All right.
2 towers. Yeah. And it was nice because there was a lot of technology involved. It was completely precast concrete.
Yeah.
So there's a US firm called Katera.
Okay.
So we had to deal with them. That was our second project with them. So it was interesting to use technology completely precast. So
what are the challenges? Because you're adapting to a new technology.
Yeah, so precast or any other technology that you would use, there's a lot of design emphasis. Everything has to be perfect.
Okay.
So we use BIM. So, the cutouts, the dimensions, everything has to be perfect because it goes into production and comes out. Once it comes out, I can't make changes.
Yeah.
So
basically, again, back to the drawing board of this.
Yeah, so there's a lot of inputs from design, from the whole team, design team, and then it finally goes for shop floor.
Oh, wow.
So it's all done in a factory. They come and assemble like Lego models.
And it builds up quickly also, right?
Very quickly.
Yeah. So, because usually, I think I have just used to be 4.5 years to build a tech park is now.
Yeah, so
what is the difference?
A 6-month project can be done in about 12 months.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah,
there's about 4 to 6 months of planning before that.
Okay.
Before we can actually do that.
That's in addition to design.
In addition to that.
In addition to design. Oh, wow. I know there are a lot of stakeholders involved. How do you kind of, as an architect, you have to deal with a plethora of them. How do you kind of balance out everyone's needs? Like, if you had to give advice on that, how do you think you would do it?
Well, one advantage that we have being architects, we become the focal point, right? So everybody works around us to our needs.
Yeah.
So that helps in, forming a lead role in that, and the others follow suit.
Is there like can you tell us an insight or an experience that you had, where you had to deal with it differently? Because you worked internationally also. So.
Right. Nothing comes to mind really. We've not had any issues as such.
Okay. That's a good thing. It's
not really had much of an issue. Typically, the issues we find is with rooftop poles, the coordination, the landscape, the wet earth, where it happens, all that stuff. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. Nothing challenging, except that one project, now I remember, which we did was about a 1.8 million square feet near the Silk Board.
Okay.
That was a complete steel structure.
Oh, wow.
Then another developer came and took over the project, converted the whole thing into an RCC. So that was kind of counterintuitive, but I had to deal with it.
Yeah, it becomes natural to you to deal with putting out fires every day.
It's almost part of the occasion.
Occasion, lovely. We'll shift a little bit focus now. We look at family and business.
Right.
We have a very strong second generation hopefully taking over the reins.
Hopefully someday soon.
With an architecture product from what I've heard. So for the audience, we'd like to invite Mr. Karan Nadig, who is also the founder of Habitainer, which is, actually he'll tell you what it is about. So hello Karan, welcome to the Realty Lab podcast. Can you, if you had to pitch Habitainer to us, what would it be in your own words?
First of all, thank you for having me. Right. So Habitainer is a luxury steel modular construction company.
Okay.
We manufacture homes in a factory like how Toyota manufactures cars.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
We have a whole production line set up. Our factory is located in Dodbarapur. We have a 20,000 square foot facility there, and we churn out these homes as our clients need.
Okay. All right. What is the inspiration behind something like this?
So let me tell you the story of how we started this.
Okay.
So my partner Gaurav studied in the same school together. Wanted to build something for himself because he picked up a land close by and didn't want to do anything permanent there.
Okay.
So he thought of using containers to do it. And he built it and decided, okay, let me start marketing this. So he started marketing and putting it on social media, Instagram.
Okay.
And that's where I saw it, and I actually did a couple of projects or did some research on container homes. So as soon as I saw that, I called him and told him, dude, I've done some stuff on this. Would you like to probably collab?
Yeah.
And I was still working with Dad at that time.
Okay.
So he said, yeah, sure, I need all the help I can get because I just started this. So we got together, got a couple of clients, and realized that, we were not really good at selling the product. We needed someone to sell it. So that's when my other partner, John, the other co-founder, came into the picture, where he's a brilliant salesman. He can sell.
Your Instagram game is strong.
Yeah. Thank you. So he manages out of that. So he's a brilliant salesman. So we got him on board and decided to start this company. 3 of us go all out and do it. So we had a couple of projects, about 6 to 7. Did fairly well in them. Made a little bit of money, but things really turned when we met our current investors, who is Surin Group, Mr. Aryan Chaudhary and his nephew Shiv.
Okay.
So when we met them and they came on board, they really put in a lot of structure into our company, helped us with design, manufacturing, and just taught us how to think big.
Yeah.
Right. So they helped us set up the factory, which we're currently manufacturing out of right now, and set up processes. Taught us how to build teams, and we're proud to say that we're almost about 35-member team.
Oh, wow.
And
where has the timeline been? Like, when did you found this company to now?
So we started about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And we met Surin Group, I think about 3 years ago.
Okay.
A year, we went through the whole journey.
That's quick though.
But I must tell you an interesting as to how they met Arun.
Yeah,
It's a funny story. It's a funny story. So these guys were on a trip to Coog.
Now we actually went for a project to Mysore.
Okay.
And didn't end up getting it. So John and I, who used to go and pitch and sell the product, were on our way back from Mysore and decided what's there in Bangalore to do, and we were really disappointed that day.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, we have this company called Camp Monk who has these, camping experiences.
Yeah.
So we were actually in talks of doing some work with them, and we understood that they had a campsite very close to Mysore. So we hit them up. We told them that we're coming there. They said, awesome, we're actually having an event here, so it'll be great to have you guys.
Okay.
So when we went there, we unpacked, got our tent, settled in, and we saw this gentleman getting out of his Porsche with a case full of Corona.
Okay.
And we said, okay, let's go help him. Probably we can get a beer or two.
Yeah.
So we actually ended up spending a lot of time with him. He's super cool, super interesting, and really interested in what we did. So we realized that his factory is 5 minutes away from our factory at that time, which was in Pina. And he decided that once we're back in Bangalore, he's going to come and check us out. So he came, checked us out, liked what he saw, and I think he involved the whole family then. And I think a month after, or maybe 2 months after we met him, we shook hands on,
Your family. Yeah.
yeah. So
Well, I mean, truly a new age funding story, I must say.
yes, it is,
Yeah.
yeah. Very nice.
How was it for you, sir, to have him work for you? Were you okay with him transitioning out?
Well, sad to see him go from, core architectural design practice.
Okay.
But I always told him, build a product of your own. A lot of times you see architecture practice dies with the person. Right? It's never passed on unless there's somebody in the family to take over.
Yeah.
And we can't play the valuation game as architects.
Yeah.
So that's why build a product, and the ability to scale it is something different.
I think your legacy is in kind of the buildings that you leave in cities.
That's right.
Yeah.
The money is in the scaling.
Yeah.
So that's why we want.
But how has it been like? What have you picked up from your previous practice with your father into what you're doing now?
I think the core design is still there.
Okay.
But when we started up our company, Dad was really involved in making sure, our costing was right, our designs were right, because Habitina started in Dad's office. At PTN is where Habitina started.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right, so we had a small space, which was my cabin at that time,
Yeah.
which was the office to the entire company. Right, so even when he started out, he used to look at the designs, he used to look at the costing, give us a lot of guidance, not only me, my partners Gaurav and John and Shiv.
Yeah.
Right, so he's really, took us through everything, taught us how to deal with clients, taught us how to deal with adversity and disappointment. So yeah, it's been hard, obviously, moving out. I think we just moved out into our new office 3 months ago. So it was hard because, you never have that one person who you can go to for
The constant even guidance, I think, is...
Yeah, just the mentor isn't there anymore. But I always visit, and whenever I'm stuck with the problem, so
It's like the bird flying out of the nest.
Yeah. I think it's bittersweet for the parents here, not the children. Lovely. We're moving on to our next segment. It's going to be called Concrete and Containers. Respect to what you guys do. And we'd like to kind of hear your views on certain subjects. The first one being, sustainability. How do each of you kind of inculcate sustainability into your work or practice? So we can,
Sustainability is a core parameter in all our designs. So almost every single building, apart from the residential that we do, the tech parks, is IGBC or LEED certified gold minimum.
Okay.
So we have sustainability consultants. We look into every aspect, right, from the glazing, the selection of the glass, to the water. So basically, it's all about controlling the energy, bring down your energy demand, and also how you can recirculate the water. So we look towards a zero discharge. Zero discharge is just a myth. It can never be achieved. There is always something extra. So we look at balancing the water. We look at reducing the energy demand. So that's a huge part of our design.
How do you kind of counter it? Because people think anything sustainable is more expensive. How do you kind of counter that?
Contrary to that, if you take base case values, especially when you're designing, say, air conditioning for a large tech park, you get in the right performance for the glass. It will reduce your air conditioning. Air conditioning is about 50 to 60% of your energy demand.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if you can control that, then the rest of it will follow. So in fact, it makes sense because even your capital expenditure is lower when you go for sustainability.
Yeah, and the scale is massive.
So obviously it will cut down the energy demand.
Lovely. I mean, in not so traditional format, how do you guys do sustainability?
So I think that put it across really well, like in your general aspects of sustainability, like solar, water, air conditioning loads, etc. So for our company, we believe that steel is a reusable product.
Yeah.
It can always be forged to reuse and make new steel.
Yeah.
But concrete at the end of the day ends up in a landfill.
True.
Right? So we kind of pitch it to the way that our buildings are sustainable, they are modular, and all the other sustainability aspects like solar, water, water harvesting, etc., plugs into that as add-ons. Or
but are there challenges because it's not concrete? Are there any new challenges that come across because you have to include all of these paraphernalia in?
Not really. I think it's mainly the mindset of people because they're very used to a traditional brick and mortar concrete home.
Yeah,
So that's the only resistance we kind of face in terms of design language and creativity. As long as you know how to use this or understand the building methodology, anything's possible. So
containers are actually upcycled.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you that.
So they don't take a brand new container, right?
So we always use second-hand shipping containers too.
Okay.
Which have eventually been disposed and.
True. Nice. But are there any chances of acquiring these things or like a supply thing or?
Not really. I think they're in abundance right now.
Yeah.
And,
I think if this idea really takes off and a lot of people start doing it, then it could be a birth for it. Yeah, that'd be. So I think the next one would be kind of like staying updated and being innovative. So how do you kind of stay ahead of the curve? Because you have now had a good 2 decades of a career now. How do you kind of stay ahead of the curve? Because every day things are changing, especially in Bangalore.
Basically keeping abreast today with technology being available to keep abreast of technologies. So we'll look at a lot of things which are done by people on, a lot of architects put up their work on social media, especially if there is something new to be done. So we learn, we observe. So we have to stay abreast. I mean, it's like running water. The minute it becomes, knowledge is like that.
Right.
And it's a pond, you become stagnant. Can never be. Every day you learn something new. And that's the attitude that you have to keep.
Is there like a strong networking / sharing attitude amongst the architecture groups?
The architecture community is very egoistical.
Okay.
It's a very arrogant community which nobody likes to share much information. Everybody wants to brag.
Okay.
I'm bigger than you.
We're the first ones to get there.
We were the ones here, so nothing much from the community, to be honest.
Okay.
Every time there's a new technology, the company themselves approach architects.
Okay.
They come up and they ask for our input before they introduce something into the market.
Lovely.
So that's where we are kind of the first learners of anything new.
Okay.
So that helps.
Yeah, like you said, we're the focal point of the ecosystem.
So anybody bringing a new project, before they test it into the market, they meet a clutch of architects, take their opinions, whether this would work, what else could we do to improve the product.
Yeah.
So once we give them some honest feedback, then they come back with
the changes. Yeah. Lovely. For you, Karan, especially, there's so many constrictions that come with making a cargo container, for example, livable and functional, right? Yeah. How do you kind of navigate those waters?
I think it's the technology to kind of insulate it is out there. It's fairly simple. So we've kind of taken a couple of technologies, mix it up to get the most optimum fit.
Okay.
So our containers are, sound resistant, heat resistant, and basically like any other brick and mortar construction you've seen out there.
Okay.
So we've kind of engineered the whole experience to make it feel like any other building. And you won't feel like living in a container.
So it's not a simulation, it actually feels like that.
It actually feels like that.
Okay.
So took a lot of hard work to kind of do that, but I think we're there now.
I think they've done a 40-key resort in Go.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Doing
a 40. And the whole of it is just steel, or?
It's, all of it is made out of shipping containers. Okay. And all the cottages, we have 40 cottages made out of shipping containers. And we also have a 13,000 square foot clubhouse where we've used almost 34 shipping containers to build this whole thing.
Oh, wow.
So
that's massive.
Super unique, and we'll have to show it to you once we're done.
Is that your first hospitality project?
That is the first one, first large-scale one. I've been doing a couple of projects for a couple of aggregators in Bangalore.
Okay.
Maybe 6-7 kind of rooms. But this is a big one for us.
Do you guys ever have clientele that cater to both your styles of work?
He doesn't want to work with me anymore because I don't listen to him.
Okay,
Santosh? Okay, got it.
Yeah. Because usually it is nice if they have an overlap of...
Yeah. No, it's just that he used to be my client.
Okay.
And now he finds it better to work with Karan. So I say,
Lovely.
What lovely guy otherwise.
In terms of, architecture for me, it has played a large role in shaping communities. Have you guys done projects that kind of cater to that? What do you see like the role of architecture in that sense?
Well, architecture, basically, a right design can shape people's lives, right?
Yeah.
So we always look at that. Take it in a community form or anything. So when we do, say, a larger project which impacts a lot of people, we don't try to experiment too much.
Okay.
Because you can't walk that back. If you've made a mistake, the whole community suffers.
Yeah.
So that way we try to keep the same ball rolling with a few innovations. Obviously, technology plays a part in that.
Yeah.
But we don't try to mix and match too much, especially in community design.
Okay, lovely. What about you? Because I think you have a different category of...
Exactly. Our category of our clientele are mainly the second home buyers, vacation homes.
Yeah.
And now we're getting into the segment of catering to luxury marketing offices where, large-scale developers, especially in Bangalore, need a quick and luxurious solution to kind of pitch their commercial or residential spaces, whatever they're planning there. So they kind of engage with us and we kind of provide that solution.
Like a snazzy, like, site office.
A very big, suitable
Experience center.
Experience center, yeah. Now, that's the new thing for all the developers, yeah.
So that's a very good market for us and we're seeing a lot of, traction.
Traction on it.
So,
But when we're doing, say, for example, a hospitality project, I think, are there any, like, specific things that you can do only with container homes that brings the community together?
I think it's more of a novelty or a niche where people find it super different that we're using this as a product because it has a history of traveling all around the world and it's a great story to tell. So I think that's the main fascination about it.
It could be made into an experience and...
Exactly, yeah. So you can always tell your friends or your peers, I stayed in a ship cargo container which has almost traveled through 100 countries around the world. So I think it's a cool story to tell and that's what our client also was really intrigued about. He wanted to tell a story. He didn't want to build any normal type of construction. So he believed in us and we're doing it.
Right today. Oh, wow. Yeah. So and for both of you, I know Sir lays pretty low with the branding game, but is there going to be some influence on this? Is there going to be like a new brand of Nadig architects that come out with more branding?
Not yet.
Why not?
Why not? He already said that we're not influencer. He doesn't need any branding.
That's true. But that in social media now,
Yes, social media, yes. But see, at the age at which I am, right, most of business works on contacts.
Yeah.
So the branding, yes, I don't have a product to brand. As a company, yes, we can showcase our work, etc. But branding and that exercise, entire social media game, works better with a company like Habitat.
Yeah, which is a product.
Which is a
for
most companies. So and they have different solutions for different stuff.
Both of you, of course, you are working with concrete and similar products, and you're working with something that's steel. Yeah, it's so quick. Do you see some sort of, like, have you guys seen the differences and learned from it? How have you kind of tied into each other's practice? Because you did work out of his office for a bit, so.
Primarily, it's the speed.
Okay.
They're able to control quality in a controlled environment. So that's very, very important for the kind of scale of projects which they are doing. Not really applicable in my scenario because most of it is built. Okay, even though we do precast, etc., built out of the factory, a lot of work takes place at site.
Okay.
Whereas for these guys, what happened is built in the factory, picked up on a crane, put on a flatbed, comes to site, just put in, collect your electricals and plumbing, and next day is living there.
It's like a plug and play.
So the client can go inspect the thing at his factory, and then say, okay, everything's fine.
So maybe a precast, and this would be a decent comparison for.
Yeah, but the scales
would be very, very different.
Concept similar, but the scales are similar.
Scale and concrete is a very, very heavy material to work with.
Yeah. Has he influenced your work in some way, sir, in terms of design, ideology? Yeah?
Of course. We have to imbibe on each other in terms of strength. Even when we're working together, he would come and say, no, I don't want to do this and do that.
Yeah.
So he's been...
How do you navigate those? Especially you, how would you navigate that? Because I work in a family-owned business too, and we're always butting heads. Yeah. How do you kind of navigate through that?
I think bringing it up is obviously easy. It's my dad at the end of it. Then Pops, I don't like this. Then argue about it, and then I told him, no, I'm handling the project for you, so some decisions have to be mine as well. So at the end of the day, we sit together, work out the best solution, and put it across. But I think discussing these things and navigating through them was a piece of cake.
That kind of stands a testament to our relationship.
Yeah. So when he first started out working with me, there was a competition design.
Okay.
So it was an office with retail, with multiplex and resi in one tower.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, so I was not really very keen on that project. So I told him, why don't you take it up? It was a competition.
Yeah.
For participation, I think there was 5 lakhs fees. Yeah, 5 lakhs was the for participation.
Participation. Yeah.
Then I would obviously get the project.
Yeah.
And all the top architects took part in that. And he won it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But he was disappointed that he didn't get the 5 lakhs participation fees. That's what happened to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he knew the whole project would go into the company account.
Yeah.
5 lakhs participation fee would have come to him.
Well, now he has his own company to float. But from my understanding, you guys do a lot of these competitions. How does it kind of like help the line of work that you are in?
Well, it helps us in not taking things for granted.
Okay.
Right? When we know that someone else is also competing for it, obviously there's a lot more effort that would go into the design, a lot more research would go into the design, than a regular project which we've already, it's an existing client, so we know it's not going somewhere else. So we would obviously put in a lot more effort into a competition.
Wow. Was that your first competition
that was my first job as an architect.
Okay.
I think that was during my internship, where the final year of your architectural studies, you have to do an internship. So I interned with that, and he gave me this as a project. And imagine a fresher just looking at a 14th floor building, trying to figure everything out. It was challenging. It was super fun, and I think we did a great job, and we actually got the project. So I think we did a very good job.
We'll hopefully get to showcase that to the audience.
Yeah. It's almost completed also.
Oh, lovely. So in terms of like him branching out into a product like this, do we see you also probably looking at something new like that you'd want to, an alternative?
So I'm into the F&B. So I have 2 restaurants as well.
Wow. Okay.
So that takes up a lot of my time, though I have another partner for that.
Yeah.
But I'm involved in day-to-day strategies for that. So that's one completely non-architectural.
Is there a passion thing? Are you?
Nice. It actually was started in COVID, sitting jobless at home. So all these ideas come up during that time. It started like that.
Because usually people are like foodies if they want to do something like that.
It's not that kind of a passion. It's just that I thought, let me do something different. Completely non-architecture.
Yeah. Did you design the space too?
Of course.
Okay.
I wanted to design.
He all me with that.
Is that something that you're passionate about? Where do you kind of get your inspiration for your work?
That's the biggest. It was the biggest inspiration. He taught me everything from how to originate a design, to start it, take it forward, how do you onboard your vendors, and everything from the start to finish.
Lovely. Actually, this is something that I was discussing at the dinner with a bunch of design friends. I come from a design background, and they were saying, what are the challenges of convincing someone to first buy into this concept?
It's challenging.
Okay.
It's challenging because the space, if you see the 20-foot container, right, it's 20 feet by 8 feet. So a lot of people are not comfortable with the space. But the way we design it, make it multifunctional, as compact as possible, and we like to use this word called efficient luxury, where our designs are compact, multifunctional, efficient, but the materials and the specifications we use, create a really different aesthetic to the space, and people can actually see what is possible in such a small space, and that's what we started getting good at, and that's how we feel that we're really doing well in sales right now, because people are believing in us, people are I would say liking what we do. So what is the profile of clientele? Because of course both of you are very different profiles in terms of clienteles. What is your profile? And then of course we can hear from. So our main clients are second home buyers. Okay. Right? They have probably have a couple of lands outside the city, and they don't want to spend 2 years and a couple of crores on a concrete home. Yeah. So we provide a slightly affordable and quick solution for them to go forward. So they are our primary clients. And like I was mentioning, the developers, the high-end developers in Bangalore. So they want a luxury product, and we only do luxury. Okay. So these marketing offices, mock-up flats and everything need to come up eventually in 2-3 months, and they need to be demolished after the whole infrastructure comes up. So our product provides the best solution for that. So
and it's so to you just move to the next site.
Exactly. The next project they're launching, they have the infrastructure to already support it. So
lovely. And what do you mean by like luxury in terms of, it is a cargo container, and luxury could kind of I would say contradict the statement of it. How do you kind of deal with?
Right. So even cargo containers, as you know, is most of the best form of steel there. It's called cotton steel. So when we use the word luxury, we're talking about purely the aesthetic, the look and feel, and the materials we use. So most of the players nowadays, especially in the cargo container space or the porter cabin space, they are dealing with, these site offices, just very basic windows, just enough ventilation, and probably, if you're lucky, an air conditioner. Right. So what we do is we actually integrate all the primary needs first, and we play a lot with our materials. We use, engineered wooden floorings, all the paint shades, and all the colors we use are from reputed brands. Even our fenestration, that is the windows and doors, all are made with good quality aluminium, and it just looks like a product which you would see probably Embassy or Prestige pushing out. Right. So that's what we kind of deem as luxury. And
there's direct competition to your No, but how has your profile changed, your clientele profile, over the 20 years that you've been?
Yeah, like I said initially, we started off with a lot of homes, small homes, because nobody was willing to give us large projects when I started out. So started from there, moved to slightly bigger projects, etc. And when the transition from Nardig Associates to Bedalthorpe Nardig happened, that's when this complete scale turned around.
So in your 20 years of experience, how has kind of your client profile changed over the years?
Like I was mentioning earlier, when we started out, a lot of homes which we did, small homes, then graduated to larger homes, then did a few commercial buildings, then did a few institutional buildings. Then we did a lot of work for the defense sector, R&D. And the explosion actually happened after I teamed up with Bedalthorpe in terms of scale. Because that changed my profile. And people were willing to trust me with larger jobs. So that's when the actual moving happened from smaller architect to a slightly larger profile. And that has helped.
Lovely. So now do you only do large scale things now? Do you also do like say boutique homes? Or?
We do about 2 or 3 homes a year, or maybe 2 or 3 homes at a time. Because the scale of homes that we do never gets completed. Doing a 40,000 square foot home for the last 8 years.
Oh wow!
Doesn't seem to end at all. So we start to lose focus. So that's why homes are a bit of a challenge for us nowadays. Prefer to work with on the larger format projects.
Lovely. In terms of like challenges, what do both of you see as present day challenges for architects in the industry?
For me, it's challenge is not from a point of view of design. It's a point for us is to manage clients' expectation. And adherence to contract. That is something that our country needs to change. So your word is not good enough sometimes. So that is the biggest challenge that we face.
Lovely. And
I completely agree with that. It's mainly the contract or the payment terms which we find it difficult for our clients to manage and adhere to. And apart from that, I think also it's very important to kind of define your scope really well as an architect, because you're not a person who's going to manage the site or responsible for timelines, but in the client size, you're like the one leading or
you have to do everything, all the hand holding.
So it's slightly difficult over there to kind of make the client understand that this may be not your role, but eventually you do end up doing a little bit of everything to keep them happy and keep them satisfied.
With your specific product, are there any regulatory challenges? Because it's not the conventional notions of housing, right? So
in terms of regulations, it's classified under a prefabricated steel building. So we won't have any issues getting sanctions or anything for any of our structures. But a container as such is deemed as a temporary construction. So in a lot of places, we actually have the ability or opportunity to put these in areas where normal civil buildings wouldn't be possible. For example, on the coastline where you're supposed to leave a 200-meter setback or a buffer and do it. So our containers actually provide that temporary solution to have it there, and kind of helps our clients, especially if they want a solution like that.
So actually, it's actually a disadvantage has become an advantage.
Exactly.
Yeah. Lovely.
So the only disadvantage they think for you guys is to get a loan.
Yeah, that's one thing. You don't get a loan on a temporary structure.
Oh.
So
It's not an immovable property.
Yeah. Oh.
So that's the one drawback where our clients are facing to get a loan to kind of build it.
Yeah.
But our offerings start at around 7.5 lakhs, where you can get a home starting at 7.5 lakhs. So
Okay.
I don't think anybody in the market is offering that, even though it may be small and compact.
Yeah, you would actually probably have a lot of millennial / Gen Z kind of buying into this, because I wouldn't ever want to live in one place for the rest of my life. So that's something that everyone would be attracted to. So in terms of like how the city is changing, especially Bangalore, what do you foresee as challenges for the future now?
I think enough has been said about Bangalore, etc.
Yeah.
But I would prefer that I always keep telling all my friends, is the entire management of Bangalore or that of BBMP must be outsourced. Just take it out from those guys and do a much better job.
But do you see it? What is your take on the whole grow horizontal or grow vertical?
No, grow horizontal is fine.
Yeah.
But the regulatory mechanism, the timelines for approvals, those things need to change. It takes forever to get things done.
Yeah, I think the developers would be on your side with that. Yeah, sure. Savvy. So what is your take? Because your product is different.
Yeah.
What do you see are the future challenges in Bangalore for you guys?
I think it's just accepting our form of construction. Because, like I said earlier, a lot of people have that in their head that, they feel safe or secure in a concrete or a brick and mortar building.
Yeah.
So main thing we're trying to break is the acceptance of moving into a different form of construction.
But is security a real issue?
No, it's a sense of security, feeling secure, like I have solid walls and stuff like that, rather than people deem this sometimes as a metal box, right, which we don't agree to, because we really do it up differently and do a lot of value engineering into it. So that's, I think, just the mindset of getting people comfortable with this form of construction, proving to them that it's exactly the same in terms of the look and feel, the touch, the security, the structural stability, etc. So I feel the only challenge.
Do we see some sort of a collaboration project between you guys, like concrete meets container, or
why not?
Yeah,
Time down the line.
Definitely, yes.
How, if you had to paint a picture, how would it look like, just in terms of a fantasy?
I think we've actually done a couple of composite structures where we've combined shipping containers and traditional brick and mortar construction.
Okay.
So it is initially challenging, obviously, to work with two different methodologies of construction. Yeah. But end of the day, as long as you curate it to a beautiful product, I think it's not very difficult or not very challenging to do.
No.
So,
what do both of you see as the role of tech in the coming years? In India especially, because I know abroad there are quite a few things that have gone past us, but in India, where do you see the role of tech in architecture?
I think you'll only see it improving.
Okay.
A lot more technology will definitely come into play. It needs to come into play. Especially, we've been, as far as architecture is concerned, there's enough technology. I see AI coming in a big way.
Yeah.
Though these guys have mastered it.
Yeah.
We're a bit slow off the table. But I think that's going to change a lot in the way you perceive. Basically, it'll help you to visualize faster. So your turnaround time is going to be a lot faster. As far as design is concerned. Construction and technology, like he was mentioning, there's a lot of mindset which needs to be pushed out. But it's happening slowly, but it will happen.
I think it's the first few examples that lay the foundation.
We need to be the first movers in that case. So,
because I just visited Dubai, and technology in construction is a big game there. Everyone's trying to one-up each other. So
you see, India is a RCC-centric.
Yeah.
Whereas anywhere else in the world, it's predominantly steel.
Yeah.
So
But do you see it changing in the next few years?
It's very reluctant.
Reluctant.
Very reluctant.
Yeah. I think here real estate is tied to an emotion, so it's...
Yeah, everything is tied to a number.
Yeah.
I want it in this number.
So,
That's the one.
yeah, for that, I think you guys are the ideal kind.
Yeah.
There's a...
In terms of the number,
Yeah.
we're actually more expensive than your traditional concrete construction,
Oh, okay.
the container homes.
All right.
Since we build on smaller modules and smaller sizes, like
Yeah.
per square feet, if anybody would compare it, we are slightly about 15 to 20%.
Was it fair to compare a
Yeah.
traditional structure to...
It's not really fair because, especially when you're building smaller structures, right?
Yeah.
Especially 160 or maybe 200 or 300 square feet,
Yeah.
and you actually take out a calculator and do the cost per square feet,
Yeah.
and you see that 4,500, and you're like, no, it's too expensive. But
True.
if you actually value a concrete structure and build it the same size, it actually ends up at the same cost. Actually slightly cheaper, but
Yeah.
so even not that much of a difference. We only seem expensive since our products are smaller in size.
Yeah, but like you said, the value addition is high.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Lovely. But where do you kind of see technology play into your...
So since AI has come out with a lot of tools for rendering and designing and stuff like that, so we have a good team who's really adapted to this and really cut short our render times and really improves our customer journey, like the way we take them from discovery to execution, right? We use a lot of tech, we use a lot of AI, like Dad was saying, the construction industry also uses a lot of software within the company to kind of coordinate, communicate and deliver. So we are, using all these innovative technologies. So I think it's only going to improve from here on out. We're looking forward to using better and more efficient technologies in the future to kind of...
What are the design trends, in your specific product? Because this product has been done internationally in India. What are the design trends that you forecast for you?
So what we do is we concentrate on modern minimalism,
Okay.
right? And we use that, I used the term before, efficient luxury,
Yeah.
right? So compact, efficient, multifunctional designs with a good sense of aesthetic is what we do. And we also follow, form follows function, where we do the design, make sure all the, the requirements are met for the client, and then kind of help the aesthetics and beautify the whole space. So that in our industry is...
So personalization can be a real game changer for you guys.
It is the only game changer.
It's okay.
It's the only game changer.
Wow. So what about you in terms of large-scale commercial buildings? What do you see that the future trends?
Predominantly it will be with sustainability.
Okay.
Largely sustainability. And trying to integrate living space with the working space. So you want to keep the whole work-life balance close to each other.
Yeah.
So you would find a lot of multi-use or mixed-use buildings coming up in the future because of the commute, because of everything.
Yeah.
So we've done a few projects that way.
Okay.
So which has improved people's work-life balance.
But is that a value addition that you see developers see value in terms of sustainability?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
They do because ultimately a lot of times the developer just finishes the building and washes his hands off. But once sustainability is added into the picture, so there's an additional, most tenants are willing to pay that premium for a certified energy efficient building. Plus, somewhere down the line, it pricks your conscience also. So you need to give back to the environment. You need to give back to the world.
With the climate crisis, I think you should be picking everyone conscious.
So it is very, very important. We've realized it a little later.
Yeah.
But for the better.
In terms of homes, do you see like some distinct trends emerging?
What into that? Japandi is what.
Eh?
Japandi is what they say 2024 is all about.
Okay.
It's a combination of Japanese and Scandinavian architecture.
Oh, okay.
Super minimalism, earthy tones is what I've been seeing on social media. So,
for us, we don't do as much homes. Everyone, all of my clients want bigger, better. My brother, then their father.
It's all, it's premiumization of everything.
I keep telling everyone, you do a home. First, the home is for yourself, not for your guests. You be comfortable in the house first. Then you worry about entertainment, partying, and all that.
Do you see, especially for both of you, do you see that as the buying lot is becoming younger in terms of first homes or even say alternate investment properties, do you see a change in terms of how you cater to them of the product?
You want to answer that?
If you have younger clientele, say, someone who's millennial buying their first home or constructing their first home.
For me, it's been a while since I've had something like that. But I would suspect that most of the millennials would buy an apartment.
Okay.
They want someone to design it and execute it for them. They don't want to really get involved with the whole stuff.
Yeah.
Ultimately, for them, it's just a number. Okay, we have these companies which come, they do your design and fit out everything.
Yeah.
So most people would prefer that.
Yeah. Do you see a lot of millennials?
We do.
For?
And I think the one thing where we stand out is the price point.
Yeah.
Right? You're getting a good compact space and you have probably a farmland just out of the city. Right?
Yeah.
It's a perfect solution. So
Work from home
kind of solutions can be thought of. And like Dad was saying, buying an apartment may be slightly becoming unaffordable right now, even for the younger generations. Right? So our solution actually caters to at that price point.
Lovely. So I think both of you, where do you see kind of your legacy live out in the future?
I don't really have a succession plan.
Okay.
All depends on him.
Okay.
We're a family of architects. My wife's an architect.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So it's fade off.
She's a practicing architect in the business?
She handles the interior design portfolio.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So I just see myself fading away into the sunset. Not really sure if Karan would inherit it.
Okay.
Purely because he's so busy with his work.
Yeah.
Probably in 5-10 years down the line. You never know. Yes.
Yeah. What is your legacy looking like for Habit?
Too early to think about the legacy.
But if it's a fantasy thing, what is the kind of scale you want to reach?
We want to eventually become 1,000 crore company.
Okay.
Right? We want to have production lines all over India, maybe all over the world.
Yeah.
Right? Building these luxury steel homes. And yeah, I think if you watch the movie Ford versus Ferrari, if you've seen that.
Oh,
where Henry Ford goes into the production line of Ford and says, stop everything. And, we need to build a race car to beat Ferrari, right?
Yeah.
Probably some kind of, movie star ending. Like that is where I see the legacy going.
Oh, wow. So what is next for Pedal Top? For Rafa?
Nothing really. There's no goal set. I don't have a thing in mind. Just continue working as long as I have the passion.
Lovely.
Then see it from there.
If you had to tell me, like, say, 3 things you've learned from your son in this process and working together, what would it be?
This guy is adherence to timelines.
Okay.
Right? Whether it's for work or social, he's really a stickler about that. Sometimes I'm not.
Okay.
So appreciate him for that. Ability to grasp. He's like a sponge.
Okay.
So that's one thing I found about him. So I explained some idea to him. The ability for him to grasp and then take it from there. It's something unique. And I'm not saying it just because he's my son.
Yeah.
But that's something which I found out in. And his ability to play sports.
Okay.
Work hard and party harder.
Oh, wow.
He's a brilliant sportsman. He's a fantastic golfer.
Wow.
He's won all the tennis tournaments in the club. He can, any ball game, he can pick up. So, okay, enough.
I'm sure it's rare. Do you get this often?
No, only in the public.
In public? What are the 3 things that you say, these are 3 things like, I want to learn from my father? What are those 3 things?
One thing is obviously the ability to design. I think most of the architects nowadays also find it really difficult if you just put an empty sheet of paper, a pencil in front of them.
There's so much chaos,
Right, so many ideas. So how to stick to your idea, how to focus on getting it through is one thing which I really learned. Second thing is, discipline. Getting to work on time, adhering to timelines, even though Dad doesn't follow it because the scale of projects are really large and you may kind of miss it by a couple of days, but especially for us, our product, since we deliver so fast, our design and coordination and confirmations need to be done even faster. So that's what I learned really well from that. And I think the thing I learned from him is never undervalue yourself. Right. I think most of the architects make those mistakes at the early stages where they undervalue their time and efforts and probably agree on a smaller fee to get the project.
Yeah.
So I made those mistakes, and now I realized that I shouldn't. And Dad kept telling me from the start that do not undervalue yourself ever. So
wow, I've seen developers really haggle. So like what it means to. If there's any advice that both of you would want to give aspiring architects who've just come think I think with both your line of work, it's be different advice. So what would you want to say?
Yeah, to be very cynical, I say, why did you join architecture?
No, Dan asked me a question even when I wrote the article. I said, do you really want to do this? Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you see, architecture is not a paying profession.
Okay.
You have a good life, you have a good connect, you have a good social life, you have decent money.
Yeah.
But it's all about seeing your building coming up.
Yeah.
So I tell all aspiring, just follow your dream. Never take the path of least resistance. Right? Never see the mountains in the distance.
Yeah.
Don't take shortcuts.
Does value come in much later, sir, as an architect?
Much later.
Much.
I mean, look at golden years of an architect, really between 45 to 65 years.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. Tough. What about you? It is like a 20-year-old who's going to get into an architect.
I think one thing is you got to know your worth. Right?
Yeah.
Obviously, when you start off young, it's going to be difficult to, quote high for all your projects you're quoting for. So ride out the storm initially and then get good at what you do. And then know that you're going to be worth this much, set strict timelines, and, contracts with clients have to be really spot on. And I think the second one is we believe that, you need to have a sales side to you. Okay. Especially when you're selling your designs and pitching it to them in front of clients or whoever it may be, right? You have to be presentable, you have to be a little bit salesy to kind of, grab people's attention. Yeah. And you can also, that will also help you maybe pull off a normal, ordinary design and present it really well, and you can actually be perceived as something else.
And I think as an architect, you kind of have to sell your designs to us, not just,
So that's what my advice was, actually practice selling it.
Oh, okay.
Actually have an audience, pretend you have an audience and pitch it in front of them and, interpret or try to, foresee the questions they're going to ask you. Yeah. I think preparation to a meeting is very important because, sometimes when you want to pitching it for the first time, the first impression's the only impression. So I think practicing that initially is important, and I think after that it just comes naturally.
Both of you have taken the entrepreneurship line. Do you ever think if you had done this differently, what would it look like?
It's crossed my mind, but not given much thought. I don't see myself doing it any differently.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, I think for me, it's too early to tell because I think we would have done a lot of things differently, but I think making mistakes is part of learning.
True. And kind of chose you, feels like the product chose you. Yeah.
So it's been a great journey. And
lovely. I'm so happy to have a first father-son duo. I did see a lot of resistance, which says a lot about your relationship, so that's great. But thank you for taking the time off and being on the podcast. I'm sure there are a lot of father-son duos who would want to take a look at this and see how this whole thing pans out. But thank you.
Thank you.
It's been an honor.
Thank you so much, and all the best with your venture.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.